Rangers clinging to a Champions League lifeline. Spain. Brendan Rodgers spills what the Pope told Celtic, a Hearts wonder kid off to Everton. And Ferguson names the one Celtic star he'd reluctantly take at Ibrox. Absolute chaos. And don't forget, we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that mark, we're giving away a shirt of your favorite SPFL team to one lucky subscriber. So hit that subscribe button, drop your team in the comments, and let's dive in. There's still a wee glimmer of European hope shining over Ibrox, and it's coming straight from the Basque Country. Yes, Rangers may have been booted out of the Europa League by Athletic Bilbao, but here's the twist. The very team that ended their European journey could now end up giving them a massive helping hand. Imagine that. Here's the deal. Rangers are currently looking at the Champions League league path, which means earlier qualifiers, tougher ties, and a proper scrap just to make it to the big stage. Think Austria, Vienna, or Bran, instead of, say, some Lithuanian pub team. But if Bilbao go on to win the Europa League, and remember, the finals at their home ground, the Sandmains, while also locking down a top 4 finish in La Liga, then bang, things change for Rangers. Big time. Because of their UEFA coefficient, Rangers will get bumped up to the Champions path instead. That means entering a round later, skipping a few landmines, and landing at least some form of guaranteed group stage football, even if things go sideways. And let's be honest, given how much cash is on the line in the Champions League these days, that little Bilbao bonus could mean millions flowing into Ibrox without even kicking a ball. So now it's in the hands of the Basques. They win it, they finish top 4 in Spain, and suddenly Rangers are sitting on a potential fast track to the big time again. Should Rangers fans actually be cheering for the very team that just dumped them out of Europe? Would that even feel right to you? Now this is one for the history books. Brendan Rodgers and the entire Celtic squad got the kind of invite money simply can't buy. A private audience with Pope Francis himself down at the Vatican back in December 2023, just after that bruising 2-0 defeat to Lazio in the Champions League. Talk about contrasting worlds. For Rodgers, a devout man by all accounts, it was the fulfillment of a lifelong ambition. He described it as humbling and an honor, the kind of moment you tell the grandkids about. The squad even handed the Pope a personalized Celtic shirt, signed by the whole lot of them. A gesture full of respect and a little dash of green and white pride. But here's where it gets interesting. During that meeting, the Pope looked at the boys and said that winning or losing didn't really matter. It's about playing with joy, with heart, with spirit. A pure message, straight from the top. Now, Rodgers, clearly a man who knows the mood in Glasgow, couldn't help but laugh. He admitted that sort of message maybe didn't quite transcend back home. Because let's be honest, tell a Celtic fan that winning doesn't matter after a loss to Rangers or in Europe. You might get chased down the Gallowgate. Still, the message itself was strong. Play like an amateur. Stay hungry. Never think you've made it. And always play with joy. That's what the Pope wanted to share. Now, Pope Francis has sadly passed away at the age of 88, leaving behind a legacy that reached far beyond the church walls. First Pope from the Southern Hemisphere, first Jesuit to take the role, and the first non-European pontiff in over 1,000 years. A giant of a man in spiritual terms, no doubt. Would the Pope's message of winning doesn't matter ever truly fly in Glasgow? Or is that the kind of talk that just doesn't land when trophies and bragging rights are on the line? Let me know what you think. Everton are on the move, and this time, they're dipping their hands into the Scottish talent pool once again. 16-year-old John Dodds from Hearts is set to swap Tynecastle for Goodison Park, with both clubs now deep in talks to finalize the deal for the 2025-26 season. Dodds, a promising center back coming through the Riccarton Youth Academy, hasn't yet made a first-team appearance for Hearts. But make no mistake, this lad's name has been lighting up scouting reports all over the UK. And now, the Toffees are ready to pull the trigger, with Dodds expected to join up with their under-18 squad down in Merseyside once the paperwork is sorted. Word is, David Moyes, a man who knows a thing or two about Scottish grit, has had his eye on Dodds for a while. And while Everton look to rebuild with young blood, they're banking on the Edinburgh team as one for the future. Back at Hearts, the youth setup's been buzzing. You've got Finlay Pollock, Macaulay Tate, Aiden Denholm, Adam Forrester, and James Wilson all making that step up. Wilson, of course, hit headlines recently, becoming Scotland's youngest senior international. And Forrester's just made the under-21s. The pipeline is working, and Hearts know. Manager Neil Critchley is already lining up a big pre-season for the next wave. With names like Callum Sandilands, Liam McFarlane, and Harry Stone all on loan and being watched closely. But here's the thing, when a talent like Dodge walks out the door before a first-team debut, it always stings a bit, doesn't it? Should Scottish clubs fight harder to keep their top youth players? Or is it just the price to pay when the Premier League comes calling? Well now, this one will get folk talking. Derek Ferguson, never one to shy away from a tricky question, has named the one Celtic player he'd reluctantly take at Rangers next season. Aye, you heard that right. In a moment of brutal honesty, Ferguson didn't blink when pressed. He reckons if he had to pick one, it'd be Daisen Maeda. The Japanese workhorse has been ripping up defenses all season, and, in Ferguson's words, it's not just his goals or his assists, it's his engine, his versatility, and the attitude that rubs off on everyone around him. Maeda's bagged 16 goals and 7 assists in just 30 league appearances this season. That's not just impressive, that's the form of a player who could walk into most squads in the country. Now, before you lose your mind, no, there's absolutely no suggestion that Maeda's swapping green for blue. And no, Rangers and Celtic aren't about to do business over a pint anytime soon. But the point stands. When a rival pundit says he'd take a hoops player at Ibrox, you sit up and listen. As for Greg Taylor, well, we've heard whispers he might not stick around Parkhead much longer. If he walks on a free this summer, there's nothing stopping him chatting with whoever's interested. But let's be honest, a direct transfer between Celtic and Rangers? That's about as likely as Hampton having a dry pitch in December. Would you take Maeda at Rangers next season, even knowing where he comes from? Or are there lines you just don't cross in Glasgow? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget, we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit that mark, we're giving away a shirt of your favorite SPFL team to one lucky subscriber. So hit that subscribe button, drop your team in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. I post videos every day talking about our Scottish football. See you soon.